Do 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 do. Am I live yet? I don't fucking know, baby. Am I live yet? I can't tell. 'Cause my fucking page isn't updating. Do do do. I don't know if I'm live. Meh 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 meh. This is gonna be the stream. Why did I pull up fucking Google Play? I went to go to YouTube. Do you guys like my song? I was gonna start the stream with this shit. Bum, 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 bum. But you know, copyright and shit. Anyways, we live? I think we're live. Yeah, it looks like we're live. Good stuff. Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the Chapter 379 live reaction. Thank you for joining me. Doing this one a little early. Got off from work a little early. They had me do an early shift today, which is nice. Normally I get off around 9 p.m. But I've been home for like an hour or so. Just downloaded Ni no Kuni 2, which is why I didn't stream immediately as soon as I got home. Just downloaded Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. Super excited to play that. I may do a stream of Ni no Kuni 2 this weekend. Probably going to do that. Maybe. I need to stop making promises because I really have no idea if I'm going to end up doing that. But, you know, I'll try. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just moving some windows around real quick. Let's just move this window over here. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Boom. Tay Awesome Ninja, what's going on? Dan, Santos, got Adrian here. Golden King, of course. Stay on extra long, damn it. I'm going to try my best. You know, I don't have to, like, sign off for any specific reason. You know, so we'll probably go a little long. We'll see. Depends on how interesting the conversation is after the chapter. Depends on how interesting the chapter is. Depends on how fast I read today. If you guys have seen the other live streams, you know that my reading comprehension, like a 5th grade level, you know? Grab yourself a glass of milk, get ready to get down. I got my iced tea in this dirty-ass glass. I'm ready. For some reason, there's some shit in my eye. It's foggy. Alright, here's how it goes. If you're watching this stream later on YouTube, there's a timestamp in the comments below of when the chapter reaction starts. For those watching now, over in this corner down here, if you would like to follow along on Manga Stream as I read through the pages, right there is the page that I'm on. So you can follow along if you like. Also, look, I figured out how to get the chat up here again. Finally figured that out. Turns out there was a problem with Chrome that I needed to update, and that's why it wasn't showing before. You can watch the live chat if you're watching this video later. You could see the live chat, but I figured I'd put it on screen so you know what I'm responding to, because you can see my cursor and I can highlight stuff, so you know whose question I'm responding to, so I don't have to, like, read a bunch of stuff. Anyways, guys, I'm going to start the chapter reaction right now. Tom Evans, what's going on? Bashir, Muhammad, hello. Phoenix, what's up? I see all you here. Demi3, yo, yo, yo. Love your reviews. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Pablo, Chris, you are the best. Come on. Giving me too much credit. I appreciate that, though. Oh, shit. We're already starting off the day with a super chat. Savon says, been waiting on this. Keep these coming, my friend. Damn straight. I'm trying my best. You know, I didn't do an edited chapter reaction this past week. And, you know, as I told you last week, you know, had a bit of a stressful couple weeks. So I'm just trying to cut some stress from my life. So, like, I wasn't I just never found myself in the mood to do the edited recording. Not that I had too much to add about last chapter. Pretty much everything I wanted to say was in the live reaction, save for one or two things. But for the most part, I felt like the live reaction covered a lot of what I wanted to say. But, you know, I'll try to remedy that this week. Do the live reaction, get an edited one out later. We'll see how that goes. So, first thing I want to do before we get to the live reaction, once again, if you're watching this later, live reaction, timestamp at the bottom if that's all you're interested in. I want to show this page here because there's been a lot of discussion on if Hunter x Hunter is on break next week. And I believe it stems from this post here. It says, no Hunter x Hunter chapter scheduled for April 2nd in issue 18. Back in the 19th. So there's been a lot of discussion around Hunter x Hunter possibly being on a 1 week break next week. However, our boy Yonko Productions, not sure where you guys got it from, but there's no hiatus announcement for Hunter x Hunter. Okay, go follow Yonko on Twitter if you don't already. So someone linked him that page that I just showed you, and he says, Jump doesn't mention a break after 379. If it were on break, there would be a notice. Nothing, 1 week or otherwise, it's scheduled for issue 18. So far, I'm more inclined to believe that Hunter x Hunter's back next week. However, that would be the 10th chapter, so maybe next week we'll get a notice of a break. But for now, Hunter x Hunter will be around next week, is what is most likely going to happen. Anyways, that was just for those who were curious. Time for the chapter reaction. Got it right here. Chapter is Collaboration. Chapter 379. Like I said, not going to be looking at the chat as I'm reading the chapter. If you do want to grab my attention, Super Chat's the way to go. However, that's not necessary. I will be in the chat talking with you guys, answering questions about the chapter, talking about the chapter, or just other stuff you guys want to talk about. I'm really open for anything once we're through with the chapter. So let me get rid of this page. Boom. You get my face. Chapter 379. Right here at the bottom, we are on page 1. Here we go. Collaboration. Ooh. Back to this guy. Upon hearing a knocking, she headed for the entrance. Shortly after she opened the door, there was the sound of her collapsing. I tried calling out, but there was no response. Miss Blank? Are you okay? As I exited the toilet, panicking, what? Murder, a survivor's testimony. Oh boy. Oh, this is probably Mizai interviewing that person who witnessed the murder. The man was standing there. All right, going to page 3, because page 2 is just Manga Stream's people. Out of the way. I stepped aside. Boom, woman, dead. If you make any noise, I'll kill you. Jesus. Even if that man hadn't told me that, I couldn't have spoken or moved, even if I wanted to. I decided that in order to survive, I had better do exactly as he said, and that was all I was focused on. We're on the 3rd deck, upper story, single passenger room, cabinets and bed. Boom. Page 4. Is this going to be a quick chapter? Seems like it. What now? I had been planning to stop at exactly 20 people, nice and tidy. That's why I went out of my way to specifically target a single passenger room. Please, 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 please. Convinced I'd be killed if I made so much as a peep, I simply prayed to myself. Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20. What? 21? Oh, that's right. The level and number of people are one off of each other. Damn it, this just doesn't sit right with me at all. Which one should I go by? Son of a bitch. I had no idea what he was talking about. I can't take it. It's so wrong. Screw it. I'm just gonna do it. Just as I thought. I was about to be killed. I heard a scream from outside and could hear a bunch of people gathering around. The sound of people running every which way through the corridors. The sound of banging on the... Did I update the page? Yes, I did. The sound of banging on a door, a shriek, a voice calling out for someone. There was just so much noise happening outside of that room. And then, that man... He locked the toilet door from the inside. From the inside? Yes, and I was here all the way until the Royal Army soldiers pried the door open. He had to have escaped from inside there. Obviously his ability, that we saw. Nope, forgot to update the page. Page 5. But a rat wouldn't even be able to fit through the toilet's drain pipes, let alone a human. The royal soldier said the exact same thing to me. But that man never came out of the toilet, and the royal army had also confirmed that the door was indeed locked. If you want to know any more, you'll have to catch the culprit and ask them yourself. Mizai thinking to himself here, if her testimony is in fact true, then we're probably dealing with a Nen user. But something still seems off. Killing her would have taken not more than an instant. Why would the culprit do something as illogical as leaving a witness behind? Was he distracted and worried from the commotion outside? No, this is someone who stole the lives of 20 people without missing a beat. The words level and number of people, as well as 20, 21, and 1 off, these are the keys to unraveling this mystery. By the way, what is your relation to the female victim? We just happened to sit next to each other in the cafeteria and found we really clicked with each other. So maybe this guy has a little bit of OCD and was upset that he killed 20 but needed to be above level 20 to gain an ability. But if he killed 20 and he was able to disappear out of there, did he already have a Nen ability, or is killing 20 giving him the Nen ability? In the Viz translation, it says once you reach level 20, you get your own ability. It doesn't say you have to get above level 20 like Manga Stream said. But either way, regardless, we know this guy warped out of the toilet. They only found 20 bodies. So something about numbers is upsetting. This guy, I think his name was Looney or whatever, something like that. A little bit of OCD. Page 6. But I never got the chance to really get to know her or be there for her. Why don't you head back to your room and rest now? I'll probably come by and question you a few more times. The person leaves. Walking. Oh boy. Walking away, sniffing and crying. Should I have noticed that earlier? Did we see the person's face earlier? Let me go back a few pages. No, we never really get a good glimpse. Dialogue boxes are covering the witness's face, or it just never shows the person's full face. Haley family member, Cashew, level 1. Oh, snap. Got a little trickery going on here. But why would this person give away some things like level and things about the ability? The person's only level 1, though. Let me go back a couple pages again. I want to see the interaction between Cashew and Mr. Looney. Steps out. Alright. Interesting. I'll just keep going in case a couple pages later we're going to learn some more info. But some fucking trickery going on here. Oh, yeah. Good thing I did. So, Kashi was saying, and like that, I'll weave some truth in with the lies. Some lies in with the truth. That I can leave little hints for them to piece together why I wasn't killed. Excellent work. Just make sure you give an accurate testimony of my scar. Are you sure about that? I want to get a feel for the investigation prowess of the Army and the Hunter Association. I want to know how long it will take them to find the criminal after identifying them. But are you really sure? If you get caught, you'll be executed, no doubt about it. They won't catch me, and if they do, I'll just escape. The boss said it herself, didn't she? If you wish for it strong enough, your ability will answer you. Ooh, I can feel it just now. I was bestowed my gift, my ability, and this power will take me anywhere I want to go. And as Looney said that, he vanished from the toilet. A spatial teleportation ability. Not exactly an ability I'd care for at all. Is it really all that fun, rushing forward to get everything done? I'll just take it slow, both raising my levels and wishing for my gift. I have succeeded in making contact with the investigation team. Next, to go even deeper. Oh ho ho boy. So this is the collaboration in the title, clearly. So I guess Looney, not so OCD. That was a little bit of lies mixed in with the truth to throw Mizai off a little bit. So once he killed 20 people, gained his ability. So Viz translation a little bit more accurate. You don't have to be above level 20. It's just once you hit 20, you get those abilities. Page 8. Ooh, we're back to the Phantom Troupe. No, never mind. It's just him wearing a tracksuit. I thought this was, Phinks. A single room with one door, closed by walls, with no means of entering or leaving. Those are the requirements to activate my ability. Oh, a single room with one door, closed in by walls, with no means of entering or leaving. Okay, interesting. That's a pretty big restriction, I feel like. Once I activate it, I can open the walls or floor of that room and travel to another location. I can return to my original room at any time, but if the door to the original room is opened, and thus it ceases to be a locked room, my ability is reset and cannot be used on that room again. My destination is also limited to places that I have been before. It seems I'm even able to travel back and forth outside the ship, but with the risk of my ability getting reset, I haven't tested it for now. Those are some pretty heavy restrictions. But I mean, he's pretty much like instantly or is it instant? Because this panel here shows him in like this black void of a space, or this gray void. So I wonder if there is travel time. Let me reread part of that. Once I activate it, I could open the walls of the room and travel to another location. I could return to my original room at any time. I wonder how quickly he travels. I would think not super quick, because otherwise he would be able to test going outside of the ship, like instantly, and not have to worry about the room being reset. So because it takes him a while to travel, that's why he hasn't tested traveling too far outside of the ship, it seems like. But there is some area of a void or whatever from when he goes from one location to the other. For now, I'm going to look forward to my collaboration with the spiders. Oh, so that's another collaboration. So it looks like he killed 2 more people. Are those the two people in the entrance of the warehouse, I believe? So he's in the warehouse. They've all vanished. Not quite. One person escaped. Now we're back to the Phantom Troupe. Page 10. I don't like this one bit. It's like they're just screaming, "Follow me." The blood has dried. This was committed around the same time the corpse disappeared and reappeared. I don't understand. What's this guy trying to accomplish? If he wanted to frame us for the murder of one Mafia family member, that one person back there would have been good enough. Letting the other Mafia member escape doesn't make sense. He could easily testify that we weren't the ones who did it. If the blood's owner still lives, that is. It's possible that whatever transpired here has nothing to do with us. Let me move my monitor a bit. There we go. You think these are each the work of different people? Not exactly. What reason would they have to let a wounded person escape? To let him lead the way straight back to his teammate's hideout, right? The culprit was perfectly content for us to leap to action after seeing that corpse and wind up breaking into a huge dispute with the other Mafia members. At least they would have been. I believe the enemy is a hitman from another family who desires a confrontation to break out between us. Oh boy. Excuse me. Page 11. So then, what are you saying? He just happened to cross us, so he decided to try to use us? But since it didn't work, he had no choice but to continue on with his original plan? Don't you think so? Or, that's a stretch. Don't you think so? In fact, the more I think about this culprit, the more they seem just like us. Ooh. Nobunaga's figuring it out. Of course, this is nothing more than my speculation. It may be exactly as you said, separate acts by different culprits. Perhaps the culprit made a mistake and someone escaped, and he's gone to chase after them. Regardless, the first corpse, without a doubt, that was someone playing games with us. Look at his face. I love when Togashi does some close-ups like that. Nobunaga's getting a little excited. His interest is piqued. Page 12. Looking at the blood splatter. We definitely would have noticed if it was Hisoka's bungee gum. If he attached his gum to the corpse and yanked it over the tops of our heads, that is. Not Hisoka. The neck severed, not by a card, but by a large blade, and sloppily. And we saw the blade in Looney's hands. Whoever it is, their blade isn't pointed at us, but at the Char family. Oh, the blood leads to a door. Page 13. They're at the door. The security here seems a bit excessive for the bottom deck. I wonder what they've got inside. There's no telling what lurks behind closed doors. Nobunaga going for it. Is it locked? I figured as much. Hey. Oh, there's those little onomatopoeia, the very bottom page. Oh, shit. I'm Wang, underboss of the Char family. Page 14. My superiors had instructed me to wait, but I hate slow, tedious work. So I'll just ask you about things you can answer. Huh? Were you the ones that attacked our warehouse keepers? It has begun already. Here we go. No, back at the cafeteria. All right. Cafeteria. People chilling. Page 15. We got Franklin eating some Food Wars quality food here. Not really, though. Just chilling. That's it. That's the whole page. Just shows a few people. All right, interesting. Page 16. We already moved seats, or do you still have something to say? Aren't you going to look for Hisoka, Franklin? I don't take pointless actions. He's searching for us, to kill us as well. If I just wait, he'll eventually come to me on his own. Interesting strategy. Oh, he's talking to the vice boss of the Char family. I see. That dude's smoking on something. Smoking on that Keisha. Page 17. I've just gotten word from some of our young troops that 2 of our warehouse keepers were killed and 4 were abducted. What do you make of that? It wasn't us. At least that's what I'd like to say. But if you were the ones that started it, then that's a different story. If you come picking a fight, we aren't the type to back down. I can't see that happening. We had sent word that 3 of your members had gone to the warehouse to retrieve their weapons, so we would have had no reason to provoke your members. In that case, it wasn't us. Someone else, a third party, must have taken advantage of the situation. An intense stare down between this vice boss and Franklin. You think it's Hisoka? Who knows? It might be him, it might not be him, but it wasn't us. Crunch. I see. I would like to see this interaction, like, animated. Because, like, as they're going back and forth, it's like Franklin says something, takes a bite of his snacks there. This vice captain, or vice boss says something, takes a little hit of his cigarette. It's just like a back and forth. Page 18. By the way, was Hisoka your only reason for boarding this ship? No? Well, we are thieves after all. Ooh, the tension. The tension. Franklin's saying too much. But we won't be moving on to any other plans until we kill Hisoka. So we won't be starting fights unless someone picks one with us first. I understand. Sorry to have bothered you. Did he just put out his cigarette in his food? In Franklin's food? That looks like a steak. Did he put it out in his own food? What is Franklin eating? No, he put it out, looks like in his own food. All right. No big deal then. I think. So that doesn't look like an ashtray. Page 19. Guys, I gotta pee so bad right now. And I just went to the bathroom before the stream. Page 19. How many pages are there? Last page is 20. All right. Back to the squad. Yes, understood. My apologies. I believe I've got a vague idea of what happened now. That over there is the Char family hideout. And earlier a man came by carrying one of our warehouse keepers who was drenched in blood. 2 of our idiot men were so shocked at the scene that they let him in. Oh, I see. And as soon as he came inside, kaboom, I take it. Not exactly. According to testimony of those inside the hideout, the man's face was also covered in blood, so they couldn't identify him. But he kept shouting, "The spiders did this." Oh, he's playing with them. And we've been telling you this whole time that we didn't do anything. This is all his scheme. Yes, I know. After all, that man somehow disappeared at some point. And with the warehouse keeper already dead, we've no way to verify his story. But what really pisses me off is that someone thinks they could manipulate us with a sloppy setup like this. Thankfully, you are calm, level-headed people who will listen to reason. I believe the enemy is from a hitman from another family who desires confrontation to break out between us. I'm reading fast because I really got to pee. Perhaps entering your hideout itself was his true goal. Entering our hideout? What do you mean by that? There's a kind of activation requirement for spatial teleportation abilities known as marking. It's a restriction that keeps one from jumping or teleporting to a place they've never actually visited. So he came to fulfill that requirement. If you're a Nen user, you should well understand just how dangerous it is that he's succeeded. Oh, they're completely removed from the concept of balance. They don't hold anything back. Frank and open, without any concern for enemy or ally. And they have enough power to do as they please and back it up. As I thought, they are seeds of danger. I must crush them before they have a chance to sprout. If I propose to team up, would you accept? Alright guys, I'm gonna be right back. I gotta pee. Okie dokie. Huh. Scoot back in here. Gonna shake the camera a bit as I get situated. Alright guys, so I do my best thinking on the toilet. And I was thinking. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any clever ideas. But clearly this guy is saying that, they don't hold back anything. They're frank and open, without concern for enemy or ally. It's all about that confidence. They believe they have the power to do whatever they want. So that's why earlier, when that vice boss asked Franklin, is that your only reason for being on the ship, is to get to Hisoka? That's why he was so confident in saying, well, we're also thieves. So clearly we have another goal here. But for now, just Hisoka. That's the only reason we're here. So that's why he was so confident in saying that and revealing that. So this guy judged the spider well. So we got some collaborations going on here. The Char family already collaborating with the Phantom Troupe in a way, wanting to find Hisoka. Well, wanting to find Hisoka before them, but they did agree to help them find Hisoka. But now, Phantom Troupe going to team up with this gentleman here, whose name I forget. What is his name? Anyone know this guy here? On the last page? Intelligence is sexy? What? Let me pull up a separate chapter. Except for Looney, he's cray-cray. Looney is cray-cray. Alright, so this guy's name from the Char family is Kenny? Kenny? Let me pull it up on the Viz translation. Viz translation. Pop it open. page... Where's Hunter x Hunter? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong year. I'm looking at 2017 issues. 2018 issues read... Do you think that Oken/Wang lied about his name, or is it a mistranslation? How do you think he and the other dude will stack up against the other Nen users, strong or fodder? Well, let me check his name real quick. 244 on Shonen Jump, page 244. No, so on the Viz translation, they have his name as Kenny Wang. Like Ken apostrophe I, so Ken E Wang. So that is his real name. And then they have the other guy who's with the ZU family as Henry Begondufno. Ken Wank. I'm going with Ken Wang. I like Kenny Wang. Either way, fun to say. That rhymed. So we got Kenny Wang from the Char family. I'm just going to say Char instead of Cha-R. Abram, yeah, he does look like Goto. So they saw everything that was going on in that room. I read through it so fast because I had to pee, but it shows that the camera is there. As soon as he came inside, kaboom, I take it? Not exactly. According to the testimony of those inside the hideout, the men's face was also covered, but he kept shouting, the spiders did this. And we've been telling, yeah, I know. After all, that man somehow disappeared at some point. And with the warehouse keeper already dead, we've no way to verify his story. Huh. So it's very strange that this dude, Looney, is trying to like set up the Troupe in a way to like fight with the Char family, but it's actually building a stronger collaboration between them. But earlier he did say he wanted a collaboration between them. For now, I'm going to look forward to my collaboration with the spiders. So maybe he just means like he's not going to make direct contact, but by creating this scenario, the spiders will do his bidding and, you know, help cause conflict with the other families. But it doesn't seem to be working at the moment. Either he's sloppy or we haven't seen his full plan come to fruition yet. Maybe there's something more going on here. Let's start from page 1 real quick. So we get the story from the eyewitness who, turns out, was lying to Mizai and was in cahoots with Looney. So this is Cashew, who has not killed anyone yet, level 1. Oh, level 1. So that's what Looney was saying, is that, or at least this is how Cashew explained it in, like, the fake story. You start at level 1, so if you kill one person, now you're level 2. So the way that Cashew explained it, Looney killed 20 people, but that put him at level 21. Because you start at level 1. That makes more sense. Let's go to... When a member kills someone, they level up, increasing their aura capacity. Once they pass level 20, their individual... Because she's member 0. But what... Oh. Regular people are worth 1 level, Nen user worth... Or maybe Cashew did kill 1 person. I don't fucking know. let's go back to how Cashew explained it real quick, and then I'll jump in the chat and talk with you guys. Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20. What? 21? Oh, that's right. The level and number of people are one off of each other. Yeah, so I guess you start at level 1. Alright, so Cashew, you know, telling them lies. And then all of a sudden, Looney disappears. Ends up at the warehouse. Kills 2 peeps. And then he leaves. And then that's when we go to the spider, doing their little investigation, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Char family shows up. We go to Franklin arguing with this dude. He's just chilling, waiting for Hisoka to show up. Alright. Honestly, not a ton of progress in this chapter. A lot of talking, a lot of analysis of, you know, we got a big explanation of the power, but still interesting stuff, but very small amount of progress. And that's because Togashi decided to dump 23 freaking new characters, or even more than that. Like 30 new characters last chapter, so that's kind of crazy. Anyways, let's chat. Your favorite Hunter x Hunter manga panel, for me, is when Netero is flipping off Meruem. I mean, it's probably one from the Hisoka and Chrollo fight. Like, Hisoka's faces that he makes. It's in here somewhere. And I could probably find it quickly. Maybe not. Maybe I can't. He makes this awesome face. I think I already went way too far ahead. Yeah, I did. Let's go back a little bit. Back a little bit. Yep, too far. I mean, this is a classic, you know? That's a good one. Replacing the swing. Maybe I'm misremembering, and he doesn't make the face I was thinking of here. I think I am misremembering. Shame on me. Yeah, totally did. I don't see it in here. But the one I showed you is a pretty good one. Replacing the classic swing. Do you think Togashi draws chapters in advance? I mean, his drawing varies from one chapter to another. I would think he's focusing more on plot in his time off. I'm sure he draws some, but the thing is, like, you know, he does have assistants, no matter what the rumor is. I mean, he had assistants during Yu Yu Hakusho, and one of them, like, released a book recently and talked about working with Togashi on Yu Yu Hakusho. So it's likely that he has assistants now, and it would be very weird if he, like, decided to draw a chapter one week and then, you know, during the hiatus, like, wrote a chapter, drew it, had his assistants come over for a day or two to do some work on it, and then like said like, okay, I'll see you in like 2 weeks when I feel like doing another chapter, and then took like a month off. You know, like he would have to have some sort of schedule. I would assume he's doing a lot of storyboarding and, you know, organizing panels, doing like rough drafts where his assistants aren't needed. And then when it's time to get closer to publication, probably drawing a few in advance. But I did mention last week how I was concerned about the lack of background art in a lot of the newer panels, or pretty much all of the last 2 chapters. Like, there was just a lot of white space in the backgrounds, which was concerning. This chapter looked a little better, but seemed like there was just a lot of wasted space and just empty panels in previous chapters. So I was a little bit concerned. But then we get to some detailed ones last chapter. But yeah, a lot of white space. So we'll see. I mean, honestly, I'm expecting next chapter to be the last chapter, and then Togashi takes a little break. We'll see. Do you think Franklin has an ability other than double machine gun? He's really confident for a guy with no real defense against bungee gum. I would say so. I mean, I think most of the troupe has multiple abilities. We've seen that, or we know that Boner Lanov, I like to call him Boner Love, he told, you know, we know he has Jupiter. We know he just has the ability where he just moves his body around and makes a sound, throws people's senses off. But, like, his Nen was Jupiter. And then now we see from last chapter, or 2 chapters ago, that he can kind of transform into different things, I guess. With Phaeton, I would assume that he has different types of clothing he can equip that have different abilities. You know, like when he did Pain Packer, his clothing change, I would assume that he has multiple pieces of clothing that he changes into, like whatever, and has different abilities. So I would say a lot of them do. A lot of the troupe will have multiple abilities. Probably not so much with Shizuku. I can't think of what else she's going to use her vacuum for except for hitting people and sucking up stuff. Like, Pakunoda had multiple abilities. She can read your thoughts, right, by touching you and asking you a question, and, like, basically a lie detector. Then she can, I forget if she can manipulate your memories. I forgot about that part. But she can send memories through her gun, you know. So, you know, she's got more than one ability. Allegedly, the subreddit said someone has an issue and there's no hiatus message at... Wait. Allegedly on the subreddit, someone has the issue. Disk System, yes, that's Yonko on Twitter. He is also one of the moderators on Reddit. If you want information ahead of time, he's like the guy to go to. And there was no notice at the end of the chapter. So if we just go back a page, if Hunter x Hunter was on break, there would be a little notice right at the bottom there of the chapter that says it's on break, and there is none. And there was no notice in the full weekly magazine. So he's pretty reliable. He's like one of the head moderators on the subreddit. Was the Hisoka face you were thinking about chapter 355? Let's see. Pop that open. Chapter 355. About halfway through. Maybe I was just flipping through the pages too much. Yes, that's the panel. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Who was that? Family Guy 10. Coming in clutch. Let's put that on screen for everybody. That right there is what I'm talking about. That's my favorite panel. Whoops. Boom. Look at that shit. The evil. The pure evil. The lust. I have a theory that Hisoka was bitten by the calamity Hellbell. And where was he bitten? Because Hellbell fills you with like a murderous intent, right? I have a feeling Hisoka was bitten by the Hellbell on his dick, which is why fighting and murdering turns him on so much. It's a pretty credible theory. You heard it here first, all right? You heard it here first. Hellbell bit Hisoka on his ding-dong. Now you know. I'm just saying. It's a theory. I can't prove it. But it could be true. Why do you think it shines so brightly? Because the Hellbell granted his dick Nen. Okay? To swing. That's a side effect of the Hellbell. When Franklin basically tells the Mafia that they're not worth the spider's time, the Charboss runs his cigarette on the stake, showing the failure for negotiation efforts. But it looked like that was his own stake, right? Like he wasn't like trying to be confrontational and put it out on Franklin's stake. Right? Because it looked like Franklin wasn't eating steak. He was eating some sort of burger or sandwich or something. Do you think Pariston and Kurapika will meet this arc? Possibly, because that was brought up right before shit hit the fan. And Kurapika and Bill were talking about getting in touch with Pariston because that was like their plan. And Bill is one of Pariston's men. So it is a possibility. There's a great theory that Maha is a victim of Pap. I've seen that because the victims of Pap look like Maha. But also it's like unclear because the name Maha Zoldyck comes from the Hunter x Hunter data book, I believe. And I don't think Maha is ever actually said in the manga. We only get Zig Zoldyck. So some people are, it's unclear if Maha and Zig are the same person, Zig went to the Dark Continent, so that could strengthen the idea that Maha is Zig, and that's because Zig went to the Dark Continent, possibly fell victim to Pap, and now looks like that. But it's all a little wishy-washy, and I'm not sure how important that's going to be. Joshua, so in other words, Hisoka's biggest weakness is a kick to the groin. No, it is much stronger. He enjoys the pain. He wants Machi to dress up in high heels and stomp on his crotch. That is his ultimate wish. Can't wait for a 20-minute video of Hisoka being bit in the dick theory. Yes, coming very soon to a YouTube subscription box near you. I actually was considering doing like a video that was like top 5 Hunter x Hunter theories and just making them really dumb, like a troll video. But I know that because I don't put out a lot of videos, if like that's what I put effort into and that's what I posted on my channel, that I would upset some people. But that was totally in there. I probably still have like notes in my MacBook of like my top 5 dumb theories that I wanted to put out there. What else we got here? Franklin was eating a shitty burger. Franklin confirmed for American. To go back to the level discussion, I believe that they start at 0. When we got introduced to Looney, he was level 21, and at that point he killed 20 plus 1 mafia guy in the warehouse. But in order to get to the warehouse, didn't he have to teleport? So he was level 21, then he killed the warehouse guy. Okay, so you might be right there. That makes sense. But then that means Cashew has killed 1 person. Meh. Ibra Cadabra. Do you think Beyond or Ging will play a role in the succession war? Probably. If anyone, I think it would be Beyond, not Ging. I think Ging probably doesn't care much about the succession war to get involved at all. Unless, of course, he is friendly with some of the Zodiac and somehow they're in trouble or whatever. But I don't even know if Ging is on the boat. Like, Beyond's people may be taking a different route to the Dark Continent. They may not be on the boat. And they may be meeting up with Beyond somewhere else in the Dark Continent. And since Beyond has been there before, he may have arranged something for them to get there. So, it is... I would say it's more likely that they aren't on the boat. So Beyond, I think it benefits him to kind of stay put for now. And even though he's being watched and one of the people watching him is, a spy for Pariston, I think it's likely that he'll stay put. There's already so much going on. I'm not sure if either of them would get involved. Do you think that person who came to the Kurta clan is Pariston or someone related to him? I don't, but I believe the theory more, because I've seen like the huge theory about Sheila, the one who visited the Kurta clan and gave Kurapika the book about the Hunter D. I've been thinking about it a lot more. I believe it a little bit more, but I'm not like 100% convinced. But the fact that Kurapika now has the potential to meet Pariston, that's the interesting part. That's what makes it a little more believable, is that now they may interact because of Bill's ties to Pariston and beyond. So, right now I'm saying no, but it's a possibility. And the book, Hunter D, could be one of Dawn Freaks' logs about the Dark Continent. So, that's what makes it's like almost convincing. But there are a lot of things that they point out in the theory that I don't like. Like the Sheila's ears and things like that. I'm just like, that's taking it a little too far. But if anyone knows about taking it too far, it's me. Like, just look at my Kite theory video. Half of that should be cut out, I really want to remake that video, but I don't want to spend a lot of time rehashing old ideas. But yeah, I've definitely taken my own theories too far. Awesome Ninja, it's a stupid theory. To be honest, I could totally see Togashi doing something like that. Or doing that if his editor let him. Yeah, the Hellbell thing. I wouldn't be surprised. Do you remember the chapter with Jing's tape to Gon? He was on top of a huge dragon, on another dragon, on what seems like the Dark Continent. Do you think that was a foreshadow all those years ago? No, not necessarily, because there's a lot of magical beasts in the world of Hunter x Hunter. It's just that we don't get to see them a lot. It just hasn't come up, really. Like, when Kite was showing Gon the video of those tigers that have, like, a horn, and they cook their steaks, like, that's a magical beast. Yuppie is the only chimera ant that was born after Cult. The only chimera ant that was made completely of magical beasts. So Yuppie didn't have any human within him, apparently. It was just magical beasts, if I'm remembering that correctly. And he gained all these crazy abilities, so it's like... I think there are tons of things like that in the world of Hunter x Hunter. It's just that the story hasn't taken us to those locations to see them. Well, actually, if you look in the Hunter exam, in that swamp, there were a ton of magical creatures, or magical beasts. Like that frog that appeared in the floor, tried to eat them, that dinosaur that had like the berries on it or whatever. So there have been some magical beasts that we've seen. So I think that was probably just a remote area of the world that only hunters have access to because there's tons of places you can't go unless you're a hunter, and that was probably what Ging was doing. Ultimate theory, Gon's mom is from the Dark Continent and is a chimera ant who bred with Ging. Gon is actually half chimera ant. You never know, man. I'm leaning more towards absolutely not, but hey, you never know. Who am I to shoot down a theory? Tampa's on the boat? I sure hope not. I sure hope not. Nobunaga already retrieved his sword. I wasn't paying attention when they were in that room if they got their sword or they got their stuff. Let me shrink this screen a little bit. Go back a couple pages. Oh, yep, Nobunaga's got his sword. Let's go back a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Looks like they got whatever they needed, and then they came back. Because they're, like, pretty much back at the entrance, right? Yeah, where they had that table and everything, so... Looks like they got what they needed. I don't see Phaeton's umbrella, but he could be hiding it. Have you heard the recent Togashi quote where he addresses the end of Hunter x Hunter? What I did see was a translation about... It was either like a party for the 50th anniversary of Jump, something like that. And he said something about, like, a lot of people have been approaching him and asking about... saying that the hiatuses are getting out of control or that, the extended publication is frustrating and that he said he's going to try to remedy that is pretty much the translation that I read. There was a pretty rough translation that came out for that a while back, and then someone else did one that was not in weird English. Someone from Reddit, Voracious Cake, did that translation. So it sounds like he's trying to do better. Shorter hiatuses and trying to wrap up storylines. But based on this chapter, he's taking a little while. He's still got a lot to say. He's not rushing things, clearly, by the pace of this chapter. So maybe he's just going to spend more time on the story and still not rush it, but spend more time, get more chapters out. I mean, if he was weekly... If he really was, like, weekly for 2 or 3 years, it could end. Probably closer to 3 years. Nope. Skip down to the bottom. If we take his scene when he's repeating the tape, Ging may have been to the DC already, but Ging says that he hasn't been there and that he wants to go. So I don't think he has been there before. Which Hunter x Hunter flashback had got you the most? There really aren't a lot of flashbacks, are there? Oh, shit. Jeremy Joestar with the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. Number 1, you need Gandalf-type vape pipe and a hat to look like wise sage / hermit. All right. Number 2, after this little subplot with a Troupe, how about Ging Pariston interaction? That is what I am most hyped for. That would be interesting just to see what they're up to. Are they on the boat? Are they taking, a different route? Are they somewhere else? It definitely would be nice. I do feel like they aren't going to be relevant yet for a while. Maybe not until we get to the refueling station, because the first 2 weeks, after the first 2 weeks on the boat, there is a checkpoint. And then I think it's 6 more weeks to get to the new continent, which they're calling the Dark Continent, but it's just the new continent where the Kaken family is going to depart. So, yeah, I just don't feel like they're going to be relevant. Maybe like a couple pages would be nice just to see what they're up to, just so we're not in the dark about it. But I think like Togashi has really focused in on this succession war, and the Dark Continent is like, hey guys, look forward to the Dark Continent, but here's where I want you guys focusing, which is why we haven't seen Beyond in so long. We haven't seen most of the Zodiac. We just got Mizai here doing some investigations. And now we got the Phantom Troupe, who's not trying to go to the Dark Continent. They just want to get some treasure and kill Hisoka. So I think he's really trying to let everybody know, like, hey, great stuff is coming, but check this shit out too. Which I am enjoying quite a bit. But yeah, back to A-Bunk Pi. I don't really remember too many flashbacks. I mean, I really enjoyed the flashback with Aluka, when Aluka's just killing people and like the butlers just get squashed. That was nuts. A lot of Tompa talk. A lot of Tompa shit posting here. Have you read Togashi and Kishimoto's 2016 interview? It's interesting. I've read all of Togashi's interviews. I don't remember specifically what he said in that interview. If you're referring to the time he said, did I say Kaluto? I see a lot of Kaluto talk. Kaluto is a boy. But anyways, if that's the interview where Togashi said he was going to kill everybody on the boat, I wouldn't take that too seriously. He probably wants to kill a lot of people on this boat, but, take it with a grain of salt. He was probably joking. Oh boy, we're getting into a lot of gender talk here. Gon's mom is a stone and his nanny is a panda. I know what you're saying, Golden King. Talking about that Greed Island card. I fell behind a little bit. What's your thoughts on a possible time skip or different time scaling in the Dark Continent? Would be a great way to pass a lot of time quickly and allow Gon to get his Nen back. Time skip. I feel like there could be, once we get to the new continent and we're done with the succession war, and then it's ready to go to the Dark Continent, because that's going to be its own separate journey. If it's really just like the Zodiac, Beyond, and, Kurapika would be involved in that, so would Leorio, and everyone else on the boat is going to get off at the new continent, there wouldn't be too much action during that travel period. I don't see Togashi giving us, they're traveling on the boat and this dangerous monster appears. They got to fight this monster. The interactions between humans and their abilities is much more interesting than some emotionless monster that they would fight in the sea or whatever. So, that could be a time to flash back over to Gon, Killua, Kite, see what they're up to. So we may get either a time skip there, or be like, okay, they made it to the new continent. Here's all the crazy shit that happened during the succession war. And now they're finally ready to depart. And then he flashes back over and spends some time on other characters as the rest of the people are journeying to the Dark Continent. It's possible. See you next live stream. Going to tackle some business with the Zoldyck family. Yeah. All right. I'll see you next time. Ran into Pickled Dick in Monster Hunter World yet? Says Fran. No, but I did just download the update right before I started streaming. Turned on the PS4, downloaded the update, purchased Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. I might play some Monster Hunter World tonight and fight that devil ho. That devil Joe. However you say it. I'm saying devil ho, because that's funny to me, because I'm childish. But yeah, I'm going to fight it, and I'm going to wreck it. You think Hisoka might have some romantic feelings toward Machi, or maybe it's the other way around? I thought that Hisoka might, have some feelings towards Machi because she is strong. He respects her. He invited her to stay for dinner, even though he's probably just trolling her in Heaven's Arena. But based on Togashi's, normally I like to keep my thoughts on characters within the world of Hunter x Hunter and not take, outside stuff into consideration like what Togashi is saying. But Togashi considered having Hisoka kill Machi. He was going to kill Machi, and then he thought, well, Hisoka needs a messenger to send a message to the Phantom Troupe. So I decided that he'll keep Machi alive. So I think that kind of kills any chance that Hisoka might have some feelings for Machi. Machi, it could have been the other way around, just the way that she is thinking about Hisoka as she leaves Heaven's Arena the first time we see her. And the way that she is just kind of looking back at the hotel room. She doesn't want to admit that she might have feelings for him because she knows how much of a sociopath he is. He cares about nothing, so whatever. Whereas Crollo clearly cares about the troupe. So, Even though I do ship them, realistically, I don't think there's much chemistry there. Rupert says, I know it's not Hunter related, but are you looking forward to the next chapter of One Piece? I did not read this week's chapter yet. And it's fine. We don't have to talk about Hunter x Hunter. You guys could ask me whatever you want. I'm just hanging out with you guys after I do my live reactions, Yeah. So I haven't read this chapter, so please no spoilers, but looking forward to seeing what's happening right now after the whole escape plan, stuff that's going on. So we'll see. I'll probably read that tonight or tomorrow. What do you think about the Chimera ant Kite, power-wise? Is it a king ant? Why did it look so human at birth? What is that? How is it that girl koala killed if it was inside the queen? How is it that girl koala killed if it was inside the queen? So, as the queen is getting ready to give birth to the king, koala was already out killing people. Killed that girl. That girl was fed to the queen. Yeah, koala was already around because Kite died from Pito. Kite's ability, what I think, was to send his soul outside his body. I don't think the queen ever ate Kite, but is to send his soul outside of his body. So it's possible that that girl was dead in the pile of bodies, right? And he put his soul inside that dead girl, or that he put his soul, that slot number 3 is to release his soul and his nen from his body. So then his soul could have went directly into the queen as she's eating, you know? And then the DNA of that girl mashed into a little people meatball that the queen eats. Kite was able to attach himself to that, or sent his soul like directly into this girl's body after she had already passed, so that when he is eaten by the queen, his soul and his will to live are so strong that he was able to retain his thoughts and all that shit. It's kind of a crappy way of explaining it, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. Power-wise, if I'm correct, and by sending his soul and his nen into another body, he would be, nen-wise, the same strength, and nen-wise, probably able to use the same abilities. However, his body is likely more durable as a chimera ant. And he's like a rat chimera ant. He's got like a little rat tail. So that's interesting. We'll have to see. Got another super chat from a Jeremy Joestar. Thanks again. $5 super chat. One last thing. What if Hisoka's secretly chilling with Leorio? They're both the same height, and he knows him, plus Leorio doctor, so he can help him. That's an interesting scenario, but I don't think that's what's happening. Because they don't exactly like each other, you know? So I don't see them, like, chilling. Secretly chilling with Leorio. I mean, I just don't think so. I really don't think that Hisoka is, like, disguising himself as much as other people think. Like, every time we see new characters, there's a lot of people say, oh, I bet that one's Hisoka. You know, it happened with Valorente, it happened with this loony guy, or just of those 23 characters revealed last chapter, people were pointing out which one they thought looked similar to Hisoka. Some people said, what if Hisoka is dressed as Illumi? Illumi didn't even say anything to Kaluto next to him, maybe because it's Hisoka. And I'm just like, nah, I just think he's not on the 5th floor right now. Or just well hidden and disguised as a civilian. He's probably not disguised as anybody important. That's my thoughts. Trying to find where I left off. Dave Lee, yes, the live reaction is done. I do have like DVR enabled, so if you do want to scroll back, even while I'm live right now, you can. Mizai is a crime hunter, right? Yes. Exactly. Junjin, no, not that one. Talking about the interview. I saw your quote later down in the chat. I'll get to it. Where do you think Togashi is taking the whole 1 second in Emperor time equals 1 hour deduction of Kurapika's lifespan? I think it just means that Kurapika has to be more careful about taking abilities and equipping them to Dolphin-san. So when he equips the ability, it won't go away until it is used completely. So that's why when Queen Oito had the ability equipped and analyzed, like, so he's afraid to take too many abilities and equip them to Dolphin-san to learn about them. So he's just got, it just means that he can't use that power very much because at first it seemed overpowered. I see, Tom Evans, you were saying that, like, what if the time in the DC passes slower? That could be interesting. I could see something like that happening. Joshua, yes, there's supposed to be multiple trips. They're building multiple black whales to go to the new continent. It's just that this is the first voyage, so it's taking all the VIPs, all the important people. But yes, they are building more ships. Hide or Hide? I'm going to say Hide. How long do you think Togashi is going to stay with us this time? I have a feeling we're going to get a break during the next chapter. I think we'll get that announcement. But, and I don't like to get my hopes up, but I have a feeling he's going to be doing shorter breaks. This has been the shortest break in a long time. The previous break was what, like 6 months? Not even? Let's see. I could tell you just based on my videos real quick if I just go to my videos page. So I posted... Yeah, so about 6 months. Wait, no. Let's see. Chapter 370... I posted on September 7th, September, October, November, December, January. Oh, so 4 months. About 4 months is how long the hiatus was. Not too shabby for Togashi. When do you think we'll get some Gon and Killua content? I think it's going to be a while. There's so much to focus on right now. Like, I don't see Togashi bouncing back to them. It would be nice to get a little side arc with them, but then that just means their arc and this arc are just going to go incredibly slow. I mean, they may be out of the story, like, for a long time. Yeah, mentioned that. I thought that would be interesting. So 3 months for the guys in the DC would be 3 years for Gon and Killua, etc. Yeah. I don't know if I want to see too much time pass with Gon and Killua. I mean, it would be interesting to see them older, like drawn differently. That I would like to see. But I have a feeling that Gon is not going to just like stay on Whale Island for, 2 years and then have some, my voice cracked. He's going to try and catch up on all that work, and I'm sure he's going to be excited to go out and explore or see what Killua is up to, I don't see him spending much time by himself just hanging out with Aunt Mito for a year or two. So maybe some sort of slowdown or time skip, but hopefully not for too long. Wouldn't you prefer Togashi focused on Kurapika's plot instead of focusing on the spiders and 3 mafias with 20 plus new Nen users? Yes and no. Like, I'm excited to see the Phantom Troupe. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Hisoka, since Hisoka is my favorite character. if time passes with Kurapika's storyline where, you know, nothing bad is happening, and like, let's say, because we have a couple days before the next banquet, let's say for those couple days we're focused on this storyline that's going on now with the Mafia and the Troupe and Hisoka, and then the next time we go back to Kurapika, it is the next banquet. I would be totally fine with that. No big deal. I wouldn't mind that at all. Because there's a lot. The only thing that stinks about this is we made so much progression in Kurapika's storyline and with the princes and just how developed those characters have become is great. And then we jump over to this other storyline where we're getting introduced to these new characters that just aren't developed enough yet. So it's like, I don't care about these characters yet, but I also didn't really care much about the princes until further along. And now I'm like deeply invested in the Succession War. As far as these dealings with the Mafia members, I'm not that invested yet. And having the Phantom Troupe and Hisoka involved in that makes it more interesting. So right now, it's not that great of a storyline, just because I don't care about these characters, these Mafia members, as much. I do think Morena and her power and her ability is super interesting, so I do want to see more of it and where it leads. So I'm glad that the Phantom Troupe and Hisoka are getting some development here, or not development as like character-wise, but they're getting their little story going on. But to introduce so many variables to their storyline is fucking crazy. So as long as it develops well, and as long as hiatuses aren't too long, because if this was a weekly manga, I would have no qualms with this at all. It's just that when you feel like you're only getting 10 chapters at a time and those small chunks, it's like you want to make as much progress as possible, and stuff like this hinders that progress. But if it was weekly, it wouldn't be a problem. So I guess that's kind of my answer. I think that answered that. Maybe. I don't know. Whoops. One of my current goals is to see how many characters I can introduce to the story while still keeping myself motivated. Yes, I did see that quote. And he's definitely doing a damn good job. Yeah, and just based on the beginnings of this arc, I had thought he just meant like throw as many known characters onto the boat, and then he introduced a little bit with the princes and with Beyond's group. But it was pretty much like, let's throw the Zodiac on there. Let's get the Phantom Troupe and Hisoka involved. We got the princes, and then here's familiar faces from the Hunter Association. Kurapika, Melody, Hanzo, Basho, Izunabe. I thought like all that was what he meant. But clearly he wants to introduce a lot of new characters as well, which is crazy. Is Gon still the main character of Hunter x Hunter? Not really. Because everything going on right now really has nothing to do with him. I don't even know if you could say there's a main character. I mean, this is mostly Kurapika's story. But there's also, like, Kurapika didn't show up in this chapter at all. Didn't show up in the last chapter. Right? I don't think he did at all. I'm just clicking through. Yeah, he wasn't in last chapter at all. And I'm not saying a main character has to be in every chapter, but, there's important things going on aside from his storyline. Don't you think the idea of humans interacting with a new crazy environment is way more interesting than humans interacting with each other? Not necessarily, because I think there has to be a human element behind it. So I know a lot of people hate Bleach. I myself dropped Bleach after the Aizen arc. Or, the whole visored thing. Whatever. But when you look at, there is kind of a pattern in shonen where if the main villain at the start of a shonen battle series are monsters, they eventually become more human. So if you look at Bleach is the perfect example where they're fighting hollows, and it was pretty generic. The hollows had just no soul to, well, no pun intended there. But they don't have any personality traits. We can't really hate them. We can't really love them. And then Grand Fisher came along. And Grand Fisher had a motive. Or kind of a motive. And it impacted the main character. And then we get introduced to the giant ones. I don't remember what they're called. But the real giant ones. And they were just larger hollows with a big mask and a big pointy nose. And it was like, all right, they're giant and they're powerful, but like, why should I care about them? So then you get the arc in Soul Society where it's, this very complex hierarchy, and we're fighting against humans. And we get introduced to this huge cast of characters who are all interesting. And then we learn that, fucking Ichigo can like partially go hollow or whatever. He's got a hollow inside him. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know the exact lore, but you see where I'm getting at. And that's where we're introduced to the visored, I think is what they're called. Partial hollows. So like normal hollows just disappeared from the importance of Bleach. You're supposed to hunt down these hollows as a soul reaper or whatever, and whoop, completely gone from the importance of Bleach. So I think that you have to have some human element. You have to be able to hate the villain. You have to be able to maybe like the villain, slightly relate to them, but maybe they have a twisted way of thinking. There has to be some sort of human element there. So I think that being in the Dark Continent and having to worry about the environment as well is crazy. But as I said 500 times already, got to have a human element to it. So that can provide, complications. The environment can provide complications and obstacles for the protagonists. But if there isn't another central villain, like there has to be people in the Dark Continent that live there, The Dark Continent has not been very well explored. So we will see people there. And of course, Beyond could be that human element, that once they land and Beyond tries to get away from the Zodiac, he could be the human element in that arc. But if they're just fighting against, snakes and giant monsters, like it's just not that interesting. Because it's just going to be our protagonists showing off their abilities and wrecking shit. Didn't Pito feed Kite's brain to the queen? I've seen that said before. I've never seen it confirmed. I've only seen it said by people on Reddit. I don't remember where that is said ever. So if you do know, please send me the chapter or the page, because I don't remember it ever being talked about. It also wouldn't make sense that she would try to reanimate Kite so that she could fight him, but think that she can get away with that without his brain. that Dragon Quest V main character. I actually have seen that, and I did think about Ging. That was a long time ago, though. Dragon Quest V. Cast. Images. Yeah, I've seen this image before. Yep. That purple hat, purple robe going on there. And, you know, this is art by Akira Toriyama. I think he's done, like, most of the Dragon Quest games. So, not hard to believe that Togashi would be influenced by a game, since the character design is done by, you know, a respected mangaka. Phaeton's ability Painpacker is a reference to character Pinbacker from the movie Sunshine. I don't know if this is true, but I have never seen someone mentioning this before. Movie Sunshine from 2007. Oh no. Oh no. When did Chimera Ant arc start? It was a long-ass time ago. Let's see if we can figure that out. I believe I need to go to here. Oh, wow. That's a long time ago. Hagya, well, nah. All of this was uploaded in 2007, but I don't know the official date of when it all started. This is already at Pito. Yeah, I'll have to look at the release dates. Because the Chimera Ant arc was going on for a long time. But 2007 seems like too long ago. Could be, though. I mean, all I see the images for this movie, I see a giant sun. I'll have to look into it more. How many arcs do you think are left? I think we got Succession War, Dark Continent, maybe one more after that. Maybe. But maybe not. Hope we get a small arc of Gon Killua, not necessarily together. I would like to see them again. I hope this isn't the last we've seen of them. Togashi once said that besides Dark Continent, he had 3 to 4 arcs in mind, I think. He said that during the election arc, that he had 3 to 4 arcs in mind, including the election arc. So let's say it was 4. That would be election arc. I consider the Succession War a separate arc. Then the Dark Continent, and then that would leave one more. So it also depends on, do you consider the Succession War as just a huge Dark Continent arc? Because when you think about it, and I've explained this before, we get told we're going to the Dark Continent, and then all this stuff in between is a separate arc. It's very similar to the way that Greed Island is laid out. Right after Heaven's Arena, Gon and Killua are like, oh, there's this game, Greed Island, we have to obtain the game. And they don't know that they're going into the game yet, but the whole York New arc starts with Greed Island. And then there's York New, and then they finally get to Greed Island. So it's like a similar setup, and those are separate arcs. So, yeah, that's kind of how I view the Dark Continent, is like, let's go to the Dark Continent, but first, Succession War arc. Know what I mean? Golden King, if Benjamin's a specialist, which he seems to at least have low enhancement, his physical feat is impressive. His physical ability on top of his Hatsu. Think he could take the Troupe? I mean, you know me, Golden King. I know you've been here when I said it. I don't like to do like versus matches. But physically, can he take the Troupe? He might be able to match some of them, maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's so hard to say. But he's got multiple abilities at his disposal. Right now, those are for, like, well, he's got the air pressure one. I forget what it was called. The air blast that Vincent had. And he's got the owl. We don't know what other ones he may have if other guards have died in the past. You know, we only saw one hand. We didn't see his other hand. So, we don't know what other abilities he could have. But, you know, going with just those two abilities and his own physical strength up against someone like Phinks, I don't think so. Up against someone like Phaeton, I don't think so. Nobunaga? No. Probably not. But if he's got other abilities up his sleeve, that's a different story. Considering the importance of both the Spider and supposedly foreshadowed Gon vs. Hisoka fight, what do you think will happen with the Troupe hunting down Hisoka? Will he die? I don't know, like, the more I think about it, the more unlikely I think it seems that Hisoka is going to fight Gon. Because, I mean, it would, if he does, it's so far away. It's so far away. Because once Hisoka, let's say Hisoka survives the boat ride, lands on the new continent, and he's not going to go to the Dark Continent. How the hell is he getting back to wherever Gon is to fight him? And is he going to seek out Gon to fight him? Or would Gon seek out him? I have a feeling Gon is more interested in fighting Hisoka, but he did say it would be a fight to the death next time. So maybe Gon has kind of given up on that goal. You know, he was disappointed in his performance in Heaven's Arena, and maybe he's given up on that goal since Ging said, you know, count your blessings, basically. You were lucky to survive what you did. Hard to tell. I would like for it to happen, though. Maybe that will be, you know, like one of the final chapters where they flash forward into the future where Gon whoops Hisoka's ass and tells him, never show your face around me again, you clown-ass bitch. Do. Considering the... Oh, I read that. I wouldn't make you pick one, but who are your favorite 3 characters in Hunter x Hunter? It's hard to pick. That's how you know it's a great story. Yes, I agree. Definitely Hisoka is up there. Man, that is tough. I mean, Hisoka's up there. I mean, I really love APR, if that counts as a character. Knuckles' ability. Because it's adorable, and I like its voice. Chikan des. I've also cosplayed as APR. It's also my logo for the channel. But let's not count APR. So, Hisoka, Meruem, like one of my favorite villains of all time. Man, it might be Killua or Kurapika. I really love Melody, Machi. That's so hard to decide. Well, definitely top 2 are Hisoka and Meruem. Those 2 are my favorites. If I had to pick a third, Killua or Kurapika. Killua just has such amazing development, and I love him in the Chimera Ant arc. And Kurapika, I just relate. No one murdered my family. I'm not trying to get revenge on a clan. It's just that he tries to focus on his own goal and tries not to get distracted. And that's how I get when I have a goal. I make sacrifices, you know. If it means staying in on the weekend, not going out to party with friends and hang out because I'm trying to work on something, or I got a mission in mind, you know, I'd be ignoring my phone. Well, actually, now I've gotten better where I just flat out tell people no. But I just relate to Kurapika in that sense. So I'm going with Kurapika instead of Killua. What do you think of Morena? Well, I mentioned last chapter that I absolutely love her ability. I want to know more about her past just because, you know, she says, like, she loves her scars, and if it wasn't for her scars, she'd probably be dead already. Something like that, which I thought was weird. Why does she think that? And besides, like, what else happened with her that made her want to just tear it all down, you know? Clearly there was something going on in her childhood besides the scarring. So I want to learn more about her. Absolutely love her ability and think it's a great variable, great obstacle to throw in here to mix things up in this arc. A lot of talk about enhancement going on here. How many days have passed since we departed? They would need 3 plus 5 weeks, if I remember correctly. You think we'll get to the DC in the next 5 years? Hopefully. If Togashi only does 10 chapters a year, no. Well, 50 chapters, yeah, we can get there. But, maybe. But, I'm probably like way behind on chat, so I apologize for that. But that's why I have it on screen right now, so you guys can actually see what I'm reading instead of just reading live chat if you're watching this video later. But I think it's 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure it's 2 weeks until the refuel and then another 6 weeks. I'm pretty sure, I think. The last time we saw what day it was day 4. It was like in the middle of the night when Fugetsu was testing her ability. That's the last time I remember seeing what day it was. So by now, if time is still passing by, we're probably on day 5 or 6, based on what's going on with the Troupe. Probably closer to day 5, is my guess. So then in like 2 or 3 days, we'll have the next ceremony. The next banquet, where all of the princes gather, and that's where Fugetsu and Kacho are going to initiate a plan with Melody, and apparently Sale Sale has something in mind. Have you ever tried the manga Vagabond? Would definitely recommend it. I haven't yet. I know it is highly regarded seinen manga, like with it's pretty much Berserk, Vagabond, and Vinland Saga are the ones that I hear about the most. I had Volume 1 of Vagabond on my Christmas list last year. I usually put like hundreds of things on my Christmas list. That way I don't know what I'm going to get. I didn't get Vagabond. I got Vinland Saga, though, so I did start Vinland Saga. I'm like a little more than halfway through Volume 1. I got it over there somewhere. And I'm loving that so far. I will pick up Vagabond eventually. Vinland Saga is getting an anime. That just got announced a couple days ago, so that's exciting. But I'm going to try to continue reading Vinland Saga so I can kind of see how good, so I can compare the anime and see if it's something that, like, is adapted well. I accidentally skipped down. That happens. How can Morena people have a Hatsu if they don't know Ten, Zetsu, Ren, Hatsu? Hard to say. I guess it's similar to, you know, Kurapika's ability with Stealth Dolphin. When he uses Stealth Dolphin on Oito, he tells her later that, you know, well, you can use Nen already now. And that's when she starts her own little training with Bill. But she didn't have to control her Nen in some sort of Nen awakening like Gon and Killua did when they had their Nen awakening. She didn't have to control her aura nodes, you know? So Togashi is he simplifying it a little bit? Maybe. But it seems like their ability is just pure will. Like, they just have to wish for their ability to work because their ability is based on someone else's ability. So if there's a way for Morena as, like, level 0 or whatever it's called, if there's a way for her to deactivate her ability, then they would lose their Hatsu in a way, I guess. So it's possible that's their only weapon, you know? So if they get attacked by an enhancer, they aren't going to be able to control Nen in a way that a normal Nen user could to defend themselves. So they are almost completely relying on their Hatsu. And that is the only time that they are activating Nen. Maybe. It's a possibility. Very hard to tell with as little information as we have right now. Is it possible that the humans populating the Dark Continent are monster hybrids, like humans that had to evolve to be able to survive? Yes, something like that. I mean, I kind of have thoughts that maybe, because it is said, I'm pretty sure it's said that people in the Hunter x Hunter universe theorize that magical beasts originated from the Dark Continent. It's possible that so did humans originated from the Dark Continent and somehow made it to the known world, and most of them, like, journeyed to the known world. So it's possible that, people who are, like, I kind of have this idea that I've talked about on live streams before about there being some sort of, like, possible Nen god or origin of Nen in the Dark Continent. So people who are able to control Nen better do have deeper roots in the Dark Continent. Stuff like that. It's very complicated. And it's not like a 100% theory that I believe even myself, but just something that I think about a lot. So we may see, like, the original humans in the Dark Continent. That the humans in the known world are, kind of like, there's basically like a split of the species. So it's like the original humans in the Dark Continent. Humans go to sorry, I keep hitting the mic. Go to the world we know now, the continents of the known world in Lake Mobius. And they kind of have this de-evolution of not being in touch with their Nen because they don't need it really in this world that's not as hostile. Whereas the Dark Continent, they need Nen to survive because of how hostile it is. Do you think that Hunter x Hunter is one of the more intellectually appealing anime out there? intellectual. I wouldn't say it's intellectual, but I would say that its characters are more complex. Like the world itself isn't as complex as other shows or other anime. And I wouldn't say it takes someone who's intellectual to figure out what's going on. But I do think it has a deeper message than a lot of other anime and manga. At least in the shonen genre, shonen battle. That it has something deeper to say there about the world. Just the Chimera Ant arc in general. And I've talked about that a million times, but the message there, like, if you were upset with the Chimera Ant arc and thought the pacing was bad, and it was definitely a long-ass arc, but it was building towards something. You're supposed to start to feel empathetic towards Meruem. If all you were looking forward to in Hunter x Hunter is the fights, those things are exciting. We should all be looking forward to those things and be excited about that stuff. One of my favorite moments in Hunter x Hunter is the Chrollo and Hisoka fight, and I think it's one of my favorite fights in shonen history. One of my favorite fights. But Hunter x Hunter does have stuff deeper than that and has more to say than other shonen manga where, talks about versus battles makes more sense. And analyzing power levels makes more sense. There aren't that many fights in Hunter x Hunter. It is not that focused on fighting. So it takes you on a journey. And I think the Chimera Ant arc does that beautifully. And a lot of people were upset. Gon never meets Meruem. I never thought that would happen. His main focus was Pito. There were other hunters around who were so much more powerful than Gon. It didn't make sense for them to fight at all. So I wouldn't say it's more intellectual. I would just say that it does have a deeper message and more to say than just good triumphing over evil. Because Meruem was on his way to having more human morals. But he was crushed like an ant because of the way humans view their own species. It's kind of what I'm getting at there. So if you think that's what you would label as more intellectual, so be it. But that's where I'm getting. Has something more to say. It's not just about fighting. What big characters do you think will go out in this arc? When and how do you think they'll die? I think several members of the Troupe are going to die. I think Basho, Izunabe are dispensable. I could see them dying. Maybe Hanzo. I don't think Bisque will die because that would be extremely important to Gon and Killua because they've spent so much time with her. I don't feel like she would just die and they would just somehow receive that message. Like Kurapika would call Killua to let him know or something. It just seems strange. So I think she's safe. I am not 100% sure Kurapika is safe. Leorio is safe. But I think all the Phantom Troupe is on the chopping block. Every single one of them could die. And that could just be their way of like, all right, no more storyline with the Troupe. And let's wrap up this Succession War. Let's go to the Dark Continent. No need for the Troupe here. And, like, that's just how the Troupe ends. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But a lot of them are on the chopping block. I don't think any single one of them is important enough to the overall arc here, the overall story, that they will be guaranteed survival. Like, I don't think Crollo is guaranteed survival. I don't think Machi is guaranteed survival. We'll see. Probably not get anywhere. Teleported himself in to confirm either side of the argument. When will you collab with Alexander? People have asked me that. They've asked Alexander that several times. I've seen his response too. I think we're both just focused on making our own brand of content. I kind of do have an idea of a discussion I would like to have with him that I haven't run across him at all. I haven't mentioned it. But like, I think the timing has to be right. I think it has to be beneficial to both of us. I'm pretty sure everyone that's subscribed to me is subscribed to him. And so there isn't, I would feel bad reaching out for a collab. I feel like I would be taking time out of his day and he wouldn't benefit a lot from it, because pretty much anyone who loves Hunter x Hunter should be subscribed to Alexander as well. And he probably has even more Hunter x Hunter people than I do. I think I would be the only one benefiting from that collaboration. But I guess, like, fans, I don't like saying fans, subscribers of me or him could benefit if that's something they're interested in seeing. And I think him and I can have some fun doing something. Just like having a discussion on a topic that we don't have the same opinion on, or just having like a casual chat kind of thing. Maybe about, since he doesn't do chapter reactions, like maybe if there's a hiatus, maybe him and I could just have a discussion. This could be his way to get his thoughts out there about what's going on in the current arc. But he is also very active on Twitter, so he does put his thoughts out there on what's going on in the current arc. Not like in a huge amount of depth, but he does talk about it. So I would like to do that somewhere down the line. For now, I'm having a hard enough time putting out my own content. But him and I do talk on Twitter occasionally. We'll message each other, DM each other occasionally, and just regularly on Twitter. So it's definitely not impossible, but we both just are focused on our own stuff at the moment. So maybe somewhere down the line. I also, I've also been trying to think of a plan once there is a hiatus to put out content more regularly, because the edited videos and the scripts, like, the scripts take me forever. The research does not. So if I were to do videos where I'm more casually talking about a subject I'm interested in, I could get my ideas out there quicker. The editing does not take me long at all because I don't spend a ton of time editing. So I'm trying to think of a format where I can get my ideas out quicker, but also make them concise without having to write an entire script and worry about a good intro and worry about the music I'm going to play during editing, or, the music I'm going to edit in and all that stuff. So the format that I do have in mind, I do have a format in mind that I would enjoy doing. And it's very similar to these live streams where I have a topic that I would discuss. And it wouldn't just me be casually sitting here. I would have something like fun and, playful isn't the right word, but just a different format than a general live stream of just me talking about ideas. And that could create potential for collaborations. So basically having segments and doing it live, or maybe doing it just recorded, but having segments and making a show out of it, like a weekly or bi-weekly show out of my content, you know? That's something I've been thinking about a lot. I'm not sure how I would package it, but it would need segments, and I could either release those videos. I could release it as one full video that's maybe 45 minutes long. 25 minutes is me talking about the topic I wanted to talk about, whether that's a theory, maybe that's highlighting a specific character, talking about, just analyzing a character, something like that. Main topic, and then have other bits that I would go through, highlighting community, highlighting other members of the Hunter x Hunter community, important Reddit posts that I think everyone should be aware of, because there is a lot of great content on the subreddit that I would like to elaborate on, but I don't want to dedicate an entire video to talking about someone else's work because I don't want to draw away attention from that work. But highlighting things like that, showing fan art, either people just sending me art directly that has to do with the channel or that has to do with Hunter x Hunter in general, whether people send me that or I highlight it. I've been thinking about a fan fiction. What if I had one of the segments of that weekly show would be me talking about the next chapter of this fan fiction. And then the final segment could be inviting on a guest to talk about a particular topic, or as part of the main topic, inviting other guests onto this weekly show that I would do. That's all just ideas in my head. None of it is solidified. I have no idea if that's how I'm going to take things. That's what I would like to do. I would also like it to be live, because then after I do the live segment, the prepared segment, then I can jump into the chat and talk with you guys live, whether it be about the main topic or about whatever you guys want to talk about. So it's spending more time in the community, talking to subscribers, getting my content out there quicker, changing the format of how I'm delivering my content. I think it would be beneficial to everybody, You wouldn't get a video like the Kite theory video, the Gon and Meruem, the Shinyu stuff. I could probably do that stuff on the side, but I could still get my ideas out there because there's so many notes that I have written down that I just haven't done anything about because of how long it takes me to write a script. That's the part that takes the longest, writing the script. So, I know that was a lot more than you asked to hear, but I think if I had a format like that, that can create potential for discussions and collaborations. Because especially with Alexander, he doesn't do stuff like this where it's more freeform. His stuff is very scripted. He has an idea in mind, and he has an idea he wants to convey to the audience. And his delivery method has become, if you just look back at his original videos, more and more artistic in the way that he's delivering that message too, with, song selection and his video on Kurapika where he starts it off. I think it's the Kurapika video where he starts it off with the rain and everything, the sound of the rain. So he just doesn't do conversational stuff. It's more a scripted idea he wants to get across. So it would be hard for it to be branded on his channel for a collaboration of sorts. It would definitely stand out as a weird video on his channel. But anyways, that's that. Next question. I think Killua and Gon have Nenbis. Why I have been rewatching the anime and you see a snake image behind Killua and when he killed that rabbit chimera. I think that's just a physical representation of their Nen, with Gon. It was said that he's got, the tiger inside of him, and then later you see the tiger. But they also do it with Illumi, I believe, at one point. He's shown an animal representation of his Nen or something like that. can't remember. But I think that's really just to show the intimidation of the aura. Just got to sit down after work and read the chapter. Let's get it, says Isaac Netero. So I already did the chapter reaction. Now I'm just chilling with you guys, chatting it up. But yeah, if you the DVR is enabled, you can go back and scroll through. But I'm probably going to wrap up in like 20 minutes or so. But this will be posted live. Or this will be posted tomorrow morning if you want to like wait till then to watch the full discussion. Do you think Genthru is stronger than Phinks? Also have a feeling Genthru is around Knuckle level. Knuckle is more technical, but Genthru is lethal. I mean, his bombs, you're not surviving his bombs. And he is very technical. And his ability, you know, it's multiple. You know, it's like transmutation, it's emitter, and, you know, there's a lot to it. Conjurer. Is it emitter? I forget what his thing exactly is, but, you know, gone fooled Genthru, gone fooled Knuckle as well. So, both times, gone good unlucky. One time he ran out of Nen, ran out of Aura, and then with Genthru, he would have cleaned his clock, you know, hit him right in the jaw, knocked him out if it wasn't for Genthru trying to step away and tripping over a rock. But it's hard to say, like, power level, you know, like, Phinks is an enhancer. So, like, if Phinks punched Genthru, he's probably done for, you know, or heavily damaged. Genthru is not an enhancer. So, it's hard to determine what you mean by power level, because the only time we've really seen just straight up like physical power versus physical power was Meruem and Netero, at least that I can recall, where it's just a battle of physical strength. When it comes to Nen battles, it is more strategy. I'm trying to think of any other straight up physical battles. I mean, you know, Netero pretty much conjured the Guan, I forget what it's called, but you know, he summoned his Buddha thing, Buddha Vista, but that was causing like physical damage. And then, you know, he shot that Nen Blast, the Zero Hand, but that was pretty much like Aura versus Meruem's defense kind of thing. And I'm back. Who or what are we talking about? From Awesome Ninja. I have no idea what we're talking about. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. Well, I scrolled down to the bottom. Oh, I'm missing a lot of chat here. I did miss a lot. Here's what we're going to do, guys. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Feel free to re-ask your questions, because I'm way behind on chat, but feel free to re-ask. If you want to ask me directly a question, do the @TalesOfNerdia, so it's highlighted in orange. I did see 2 questions I wanted to answer, though. One from Golden King. Would you ever do YouTube full-time, assuming you could financially? If it was financially viable, I think that would be fun, and I could put out so many videos. One of the problems I have is not just that it takes me a long time to write a script, but that I am very selfish with my time. On the weekdays, I barely can commit any time to doing YouTube stuff. On the weekends, you know, like this weekend, I got to go get my oil changed and get some other work done on my car. That's going to take several hours of my day. I'm going to do my grocery shopping, clean up the apartment a little bit, do my laundry and things like that. And sometimes by the end of the day on a Saturday, I don't want to sit down and work on a chapter reaction. I just want to play some video games, you know, jump online with my buddies, play some games. Maybe I just want to watch some anime. Some weekends I go and I visit family out of town, so it's very difficult. Even when I do find time to do chapter reactions or to work on a video, like, it starts to feel like work because I work a full-time job. So sometimes it's fun. The script writing part is not fun for me, but I enjoy the editing. I enjoy getting my ideas out there, coming up with the ideas and doing the research. That part is fun. So sometimes it does feel like work, but if I had more time to spend on that, I would also have more time for my other hobbies. Because making videos does take a lot of time. Even the chapter reaction videos, I spend 4 to 5 hours doing those. Because sometimes I'll do my research for an hour or so. I record about 45 minutes of stuff. Then I have to edit that, which means I have to at least watch 45 minutes of content. Cut it down to under 20 minutes is what I usually aim for. And then rewatch that again. If it's 20 minutes, that's another 20 minutes. Create that thumbnail, do the upload, and then I spend time in the comments section as much as I can. So it just takes a lot of time. So sometimes I don't want to do that during my free time. I'd rather just enjoy my my free time and spend time during doing my other hobbies. I would love to do YouTube full time. I'm not sure I ever see that being a possibility unless I have another video that blows up my channel like the Gon and Meruem video did. I get most of my subscribers from that video. But yeah, if I opened a Patreon and I had enough, the only problem is I live alone. I have a relatively new car that I'm still making payments on. Plus the car insurance. I absolutely need health insurance because I do have some medical conditions. So I can't go without health insurance because one trip to the hospital could cost me $100,000. So I would be paying out of pocket, which is going to be more expensive than the health insurance I pay for now. So even though my bills every month come out to between $1,700 and $1,800 right now, I would need more than that because I would need to cover my health insurance. I would need to invest some of it in 401k, and those bills don't include groceries and things like that. So realistically, for me to do YouTube full time to survive between ad revenue and Patreon and possible sponsorships, I would need to be making about $3,000 a month. And that's just not possible with the kind of content that I do, I think, in my opinion. If I did more edited videos and more highly produced videos, it's possible. But if I also did YouTube and then Twitch on the side, Twitch for half the day and then worked on videos the other half the day, I could manage putting out a couple videos a week and then also gaining different kinds of subscribers on Twitch and getting donations and subscribers from that. But I'm not sure I ever see it being a possibility. I have considered saving up enough money so that I could try doing YouTube full-time for 6 months, losing money every month. Saving up enough so that I could survive for 6 months. And if I made $0, I could just get a job and then just be back to square one. But realistically, that's an extremely risky maneuver. And with the way that YouTube is changing, I don't think it's a good idea. So I will continue to do YouTube as long as it is fun. If it becomes something that I can turn into a job, I would try that. But I also make very good money right now. Not very good, but I live alone. I got a new-ish car a couple years ago, 2015. I pay all my bills. I save money. I'm investing money into my 401k. So, I'm set right now. I'm doing well for myself. So, YouTube, if I made $3,000 a month on YouTube with Patreon and all that stuff, what would that be per year? Not enough. 36,000, right? Times 12 months. Yeah. That would be 36,000 a year. That'd be a pretty decent drop from what I make now. So, would it be super fun? Yeah, probably. So, would it be worth the decrease in salary? Yes, absolutely. But I think that's the minimum I can make to survive, would be like 3,000 a month. I could always sell my car and just be stuck at home all the time and Uber everywhere. But, you know, that wouldn't be too fun. Hello World says, will we ever get to see Zushi again? I sure hope so. If I were to do a fanfic, it would be about Zushi. Or an original character. But I would love to do fanfic on Zushi. Who do you think will be the next cock and king? One of the least popular princes, or princes like Benjamin, or the fourth prince? Will there be one survivor through the voyage or more? I don't know. Like, the more we get to know these characters, like, I feel like some of them just, like, can't die. It would be, like, too cruel to, like, kill someone like Fugetsu. Kachu and Fugetsu will escape with Wobble. Like, I feel like some will escape. You know, some are dispensable. We didn't really get to know Momose that much. She seemed a bit arrogant. So, like, her death wasn't impactful. But to see characters so young getting killed off feels like a little too dark for shonen. And even though I was saying for a long time that Fugetsu could be next, because she barely had any development, and because she seems weak, like, I'm starting to backtrack on that. I don't think there will be one sole survivor and all the others will die. And I don't think Kurapika would be happy if Wobble was the last survivor and he had to, like, you know, I think Kurapika wants other princes to survive. Like Mariam. Mariam's just an innocent little kid who likes his hamster, you know? How cruel would that be for Benjamin or someone to be responsible for his death? Seems like too much. You know, what if we get some bait and switch where they actually... Not really a bait and switch, but where there actually is one survivor, but somehow that machine that the king has, where he placed Momose in that coffin, what if they are somehow like, okay, the war is over, this person won, they will be the next king, and now I will revive the rest. And they are somehow revived. Imagine that they're not actually dead. Or they are dead now, but he somehow revives them. It's like, okay, the war's over, this person won, I'll bring back the rest of my kin, my kids, and then I'll put the 2 scars on them, you know, with the razor blades. Imagine something like that happening. But that's very much like the end of the Crollo and Hisoka battle. Is Crollo said, I'm 100% going to win. He won the match. He killed Hisoka. But Hisoka came back. What if something like that happened in the Succession War? Would you be upset with that? That way we feel all the emotional impact of all these characters dying, but it's not permanent. I'm wondering how people would react to that. Because if it's a long, drawn-out Succession War, and they're slowly being picked off, we would have more time for the feeling of their death to sink in, and then more of a relief when they come back, as opposed to Hisoka was like a few pages and then he's revived, you know? So that death didn't sink in, that dread. Thoughtful asks what's happening with Jing's group. We have no idea. We haven't seen them in forever. Andreas, have a good night. I'm sure you said that a while ago, but I see you now. Have a good night. Dofi is king. There's the ending the audience wants, and then there's the ending the audience really wants but don't know about yet. I like that. Whoops, I skipped. Glad to hear you're doing well financially. It's always good to see that from people in the community and YouTube. Thank you, Gone Freaks. Yeah, I mean, I've got a good job, and I enjoy it too. That's the thing, you know. Sometimes the job stresses me out, but overall, like, my job is very good, and like, I work in a place that is like very flexible, you know. I work half the day in the building at my job, and then I take my lunch break. I get to work the second half of my day from home, which is nice. So I'm only in the office 20 hours a day. It's right around the corner from where I live, which is nice. We have ping pong tables. So, like, if you want to take a little break from work, play some ping pong, that's cool. You can do that. Sometimes I do. I haven't in a while because I lost my ping pong paddle. But, like, we're like a progressive, like, tech company, you know? Like Google. But yeah, it's a good place to work. And I love the people that I work with. That's probably the best part. I work with a lot of great people. So, the job is good. So it would be tough to leave that. It would be tough to do what I said earlier, where I would save up enough money where I could survive for 6 months without making money. It would be a very crazy decision for me to do that. I would have to, in my mind, feel like I am guaranteed to start making money on YouTube in these 6 months. Because if I failed and I didn't make enough money in those 6 months to make YouTube a career, it would be hard for me to go back to that job and ask for my job back. I would feel like a failure, and I wouldn't want to have to do that. So it would have to be a guarantee, and I would have to be loving what I'm doing with YouTube in order to want to leave my current job, because it is very good. Pretty sure one of the conditions of the urn is if you quit, you die. That is usually the price of Nen from Soap. So yes, like, Kurapika has speculated that something could go wrong if they leave the succession war. Or that the other princes will somehow get weaker or stronger or whatever. His analysis was very strange, but he does think that, you know, leaving the war could cause something. Go and read the chapter with the urn. Tell me the fourth wasn't set up in that chapter to be the main threat. Oh yeah, he is definitely the centerpiece of the chapter. Him and Benjamin are like... And even Benjamin's discussion with the fourth prince, when he calls him, he says, like, father approved. Meaning that the succession war might have been Benjamin's idea. And maybe the succession war was inevitable, but Benjamin wanted it to be on the boat and to be on the journey to the new continent. So, and because of the way he delivered that message to the fourth prince, it's possible the fourth prince wanted the succession war to be had soon as well. Or maybe their plan was just to get the king to agree that succession would be decided soon. And they didn't know what methods the king would use to decide succession. But that they wanted it to be done soon. So they definitely are the main focus. Soap, what do you mean you could toggle timestamps? What's that in referring to? Do you mean like after this video can I put timestamps so people can go back and watch it? I'm not 100% sure what you're saying there. Chapter 339 was the last one that was animated. That leaves 40. Do you think 20 or 30 more issues can allow for an animation project? We would need about 60 chapters. So I did this math last time, but if you take, there's 339 chapters turned into a 148 episode anime, so divided by 148, that means 2.29 chapters is one episode. So, if we want a 24 episode anime, we could multiply that by 2.29. That means we need about 55 chapters for 24 episode anime, and about 60 chapters for a 26 episode anime. But it is also going to depend on if those 60 chapters, do those 60 chapters give us a nice solution, a nice end to a season of anime? Because it would be weird to just put a season out there of 26 episodes Hold on. Remove. Oh, there we go. Boom. Turned on timestamps. Nice. Don't know why I haven't done that earlier. Anyways. So thank you, Soap. But Pablo. So, if, let's say after those 60 chapters, we're still just in the middle of this succession war, you know? It doesn't end on like a troop member dying or some sort of resolution or something exciting. I don't know. It would be weird to end it in the middle of the succession war arc. So, unless there is a resolution to this arc by chapter 400, would be 60 chapters unanimated. So if there isn't a resolution to this arc by chapter 400, which I don't think there will be because that's only 21 chapters from now, it doesn't seem logical to get a 24 episode anime. I think it would be better to wait till the end of this arc. Or I think it would just be better, like, if this arc ends and then we get to the Dark Continent and it seems like that's going to be the last arc, just wait. I would say just wait. That way we get a couple years of Hunter x Hunter manga and then we get that reinvigorated with the anime. And I would love if Madhouse just continued where they left off. But if it was a full reboot, I wouldn't mind that either, because then we'd get, 6 years of Hunter x Hunter anime. But Don Quixote says, yo, anime never coming back. I wouldn't look forward to it. I would not anticipate an anime in the next year, in the next 2 years, maybe in the next 5 years. But Golden King says, I think we've waited so long already, I think we can do 10 more years. Why not? I would say just wait until this arc is, or wait until Hunter x Hunter has ended, and then give it a full anime. Not happening anytime soon. But, anyways, guys, 9:30. Oh, Maxwell just read the chapter. Well, Maxwell, unfortunately, I'm ending right now. I gotta go to the bathroom again. And I said I'd be done in 20 minutes. It's been about 30 minutes. So, yeah, chapter was pretty good, Definitely slowing down the pace a little bit. Stepping away from what's going on with the princes. But overall, I did enjoy it. I'm just hoping that if this is going to continue this storyline at this pace, then hopefully Togashi sticks around for more than 10 chapters, or if a hiatus is announced next week, that we get his return sooner than 6 months. So this will be uploaded tomorrow. I usually just let it render and it posts as unlisted, and then I just repost it the next day. I just publish it after I add like tags and stuff like that to it. So you can watch this later if you want, tomorrow, and then I'll work on my chapter reaction video. I'm not sure how much I need to add, but I didn't do a chapter reaction last week and edited one, so I will do my best to get one before the end of the weekend. So Maxwell says, wait, is a hiatus coming soon? Probably not. Or, I'm sorry, probably yes, just because that's been Togashi's pattern, is to do 10 chapters and then take a break. He's done that 3 times in a row now, maybe 4. So we may get an announcement next week about a hiatus. But anyways, fingers crossed that we don't. Nerdia, more live streams. Well, as long as we're doing the weekly chapters, I'm going to keep doing these live streams. I'm going to try to get a chapter reaction done earlier tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But I would like to do some streams of Ni no Kuni, because I just bought that. Or maybe do some Monster Hunter streams, some gaming streams this weekend. But we'll see. No promises, all right? No promises. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you for joining me on the stream. Had a lot of fun chatting with you guys. Appreciate you. And I will see you very soon. Bye.